Welcome, fellow adventurers, to a tale of breathtaking landscapes and the bonds forged on the open road. In the heart of Europe lies the Central Alps, a motorcycle rider's paradise. But this story isn't just about the stunning scenery, it's about a carefully crafted adventure for friends new to these winding roads. Now, before we could embark on this epic journey, fate had already dealt its hand. Prior to meeting Stefan and his friends, I had committed to the Trans-Italia Marathon, a challenging 4-day off-road motorcycle event in the heart of Italy. On my way to the Trans-Italia Marathon, my trusty motorcycle suffered critical engine damage. Stranded halfway to Italy, not only did my Trans-Italia Marathon dreams hang in the balance, but so did the plans for the subsequent trip. With no functioning motorcycle, the adventure seemed destined to be just a dream. This is where Stefan came to the rescue. It was his act of kindness and generosity that allowed me to borrow one of his motorcycles. And so, not only were my Trans-Italia Marathon dreams salvaged, but the stage was set for this adventure through the Central Alps with Stefan and his friends. Join us as we relive the highlights and the camaraderie that defined this motorcycle journey through the Central Alps.
Memorable trip of a lifetime. Incredible. Yeah, really, really good.
The initial encounter with Stefan took place in Hamburg during the summer of 2022. A chance connection born out of shared passion for KTM motorcycles and the world of social media. What started as a collaborative effort for a motorcycle trip to Norway, where Stefan generously provided a bike and riding gear for my brother, evolved into a lasting friendship. Fast forward to the fall of 2023, and the stars aligned for Stefan and me to embark on a motorcycle tour together. Despite the demands of building his motorcycle rental business, Stefan seized a rare opportunity to hit the road. Surprisingly, he hadn't explored some of the finest motorcycle routes in the Alps, as his previous adventures primarily focused on off-road riding. Motivated by the desire to share the thrill of the scenic roads, I meticulously crafted a 6-day motorcycle tour through the Central Alps, showcasing the very best within the time constraints of just 6 days. Stefan, accompanied by 2 friends, would kickstart the journey riding solo for the initial 2 days. Jochen and I were joined by Uwe, whom we had met during the Trans-Italia Marathon. The 3 of us would take those 2 days and ride north from Rimini. The rendezvous point was set at the base of the iconic Stelvio Pass, the crown jewel of high alpine passes. The Trans-Italia Marathon is over. We're still in Rimini. We're heading now to Lake Garda. And there's going to be a long section of Autobahn, and then we leave the Autobahn and we'll discover the sort of east side of Lake Garda. There's some really nice curvy roads. We'll go through Riva and then we'll decide from there where this tour is going to end for today. That's 11:15 right now, so late start, 23 degrees, perfect riding weather. Let's go. I've been on this trek a couple times before. The last time was here in late fall. It is 4:30 right now. So it's a bit later in the day, sun is quite low, and after the hot ride on the Autobahn, this is so nice. Gives us a chance to cool off and enjoy this amazing road here. It's pretty narrow, so you have to watch traffic. So you don't always need the high Alps to have spectacular roads like this. This is sort of a mid-mountain range, and this road goes alongside the mountain for quite some time, and it's like this. It's a nice flow of one curve after another. Now, in about a month's time, this place has the most beautiful colors you'll find in this area. With all the trees, some leaves turning. Catch this on a nice October day. This is one of the most scenic rides I've done in this area. Wow. Boah, guck dir das an. Wow. Ab durch den Wald. We made it to the northern tip of the Lake Garda, and it's right in front of me here. Beautiful, beautiful view. It's a bit later at night, so the sun's coming in quite low. It's quite beautiful here. We will try to make our way through traffic and then see if we attempt parts of the Tet Trek, which is on the northeastern side of the lake. It seems like the sun's going to be up for a little longer, so maybe we can do that. The problem with this area is, of course, it's so busy, so freaking busy, so many cars. But hey, I'm gonna enjoy the view for a second here. This is beautiful. Ich war hinter dem Bus, ich bin hinter euch, vor euch. Alles klar, ich fahr hier mal rein. Draufgeschissen. So sieht es aus. Alle da. So we're on the west side of Lake Garda, northern section. There's a ton of tunnels to go through. At some point we have to take an exit out here to meet the Tet Trek, or actually follow the Tet Trek into the mountains. But the view is awesome because the sun's setting and the side is illuminated now. Wow. So we left the road along the lake and now we're making our way up the mountain, and this is awesome. This is a really nice road. Look at this tiny, curvy road. Ah, okay, ja. Es geht ja nach rechts. Okay. Ist ja gar nichts los, korrekt? So muss es sein. Ja. Hammer, gut. Wow. Wow. Yes. Ah, that's very cool. So we made it to our today's final destination. What's the town's name? Gariano. So it's pretty cool. We just picked it out and it's still quite nice. It's twilight at the Garda Lake. Nestled along the serene shores of Lake Garda, Gardiano stands as a hidden gem, captivating visitors with its timeless charm and picturesque landscapes. This quaint town is situated on the western bank of Italy's largest lake. A small cafe near the harbor was the perfect place to have a small breakfast and start the day. Today, we will leave the Lake Garda region and head north into the heart of the Alps, where we will meet up with Stefan and his friends. It's a beautiful morning at Lake Garda. The sun has risen already over the mountain ranges. We got up early, 6:30 in the morning, took it easy, had some nice breakfast close to this tiny harbor, really good cappuccino and croissant. And now we're on our way to meet the Tet Trek again. We left the Tet Trek about 10 kilometers off the Tet Trek. We're gonna go up the mountains again and go to the Tet Trek, and hopefully we'll see some sort of light gravel roads, I think. Never been in this area, but I'm quite curious to see. It's a beautiful day. It's already 20 degrees out. And then we will make our way through the mountain ranges on the west side of Lake Garda. Was ist da los, Uwe? Fällt dir wieder dein Motorrad auseinander?
Nee, ich habe nur gesehen, dass das Band, das rechte, runtergefallen ist, weil im Schatten war immer sowas flackernd. Das kann nicht sein. Aber ist schon komisch, mit dem Ding. Das wackelt hinten immer so hin und her.
With Uwe sorting out this luggage, we were all set to tackle the first stretch of gravel for the day. Gravel tracks are a rarity in this part of Italy, making the upcoming road all the more enjoyable. So the difference is this time we have all our luggage with us. The bikes are a bit heavier, they behave a little differently than they did on the Trans-Italia Marathon, where we were just riding with day luggage. I still have my drone pack with me and tools, but I was probably a good 20 kilograms lighter than I am right now. We're back on pavement along a very scenic and curvy drive along a reservoir. And the sun is still low in the sky. It's a beautiful view here. Lake Valvestino proves to be a charming artificial reservoir, surprisingly reminiscent of breathtaking Norwegian fjords in certain areas. Positioned alongside the road linking Lake Idro to Lake Garda, it is regulated by the Ponte Cola Dam, which is strategically constructed along the Toscolano stream. Following our initial coffee break along the way, it was time to assess how well my tires endured the extended stretches of winding paved roads, as we would soon encounter our last gravel section on this trip. Können wir ein bisschen sachter am Gas gehen, glaube ich. Das ganze Geknalle, ey, das sieht ja wirklich krass aus hier. We are still on the Tet, Italy. This is very much still a paved section, a little dirty road here. Very paved, narrow road that goes up the mountain here. There's a little bit of traffic here beforehand. And we want to hope that this track actually is open. We saw some signs that it might be closed, but so far so good. These tracks are fun if you like tight corners and narrow roads. The only thing that is a bit of a pain is line corners. You really have to watch out because it fits a car, it doesn't fit a car and a motorcycle necessarily. So you have to keep your eyes peeled so you don't run into a car. Not sure what this road is. Maybe it was an old road to get across the mountain and it was replaced by a faster, bigger road at some point. Wow. Da ist der Tunnel. So we're up here at pretty high elevation at the moment. We got a nice view down to the valley. I think it goes up a little. I see a building up there. That's probably where we're going. But yeah, it's pretty spectacular road. Pretty small. I'm not sure a lot of people get to see this really. Na satte. Schön. Kannst du gleich hier machen. Ich gehe ja nur die Straße hoch.
Ja.
Oh, gravel. Finally. A gravel section. This is what we came here for. So right now Uwe on his Tenere 700 is riding in front of me. And we're still doing a couple days together on road or on these smaller TED tracks after the Trans-Italia Marathon. Taking it slow with the hikers. That's fun. Check this out. And here it was, the last stretch of easy-to-ride gravel road for this trip. We relished the last kilometers of unpaved TED track. Before journeying north through the Alps, we encountered one last highlight on our route. an abandoned site from the Cold War era. While the main entrance was blocked, our adventure bikes allowed us to discover an alternative entry point, enabling us to explore this piece of history up close.
Cheers!
These lost places. Check it out. Yes. Nice graffiti. Whoa. The station was a vital component of the Allied Command Europe High Band, a NATO radio communication and early warning system operational from 1965 to 1995. Situated at an elevation of 2,196 meters on a mountain in the province of Bergamo, this station played a crucial role as part of a network of stations stretching from Norway to Turkey. So we're doing a little detour. Seems like Uwe knows this area. We're just going up a kind of hill. Not sure where it's taking us. Ah, der Jesus. Some Jesus. There's a Jesus, just like in Rio. Klar. The imposing golden statue of Christ the King, standing at a majestic height of 8 meters, dominates the Camonica Valley from the hill of Magdalene of Bieno. This is one of my favorite passes here in this area. The Passo Tonale, Passo di Gavia. It's a relatively narrow road. Not all of the road is in very good condition, but I just like the way it's narrow. It's very curvy. You have to kind of watch it a little bit for traffic. Tight hairpin turns. Everything to make a pass really fun. And of course, beautiful scenery on top of that. So we are very much at the bottom of it. We should be at the top of Passo di Gavia in probably 20 minutes, something like that. And it's beautiful with the light shining in. It's already getting a bit late. And it's 4:15. And we got a little bit of a dreamer in front of us. It's always fascinating that people don't look into the rearview mirror. See they have traffic behind them. Probably doesn't even know and probably gets completely scared when we start to pass him. See, it's not having a bit of a... Ja, der Kollege kommt noch nicht klar. So, gut vorbei. So this pass goes well above the 2,000 meter mark, and it's already starting to look pretty bare. We're about to exceed the tree line here anytime soon. And then the scenery changes completely. The very first time I did this pass was actually in the rain. It was pouring, it was dark already. And it looked like a scene from Lord of the Rings, a Mordor or something. It was pretty foreboding. This is perfect now. Perfect riding day. Perfect riding weather.
Wir fahren da lang. Ich glaube nicht.
With 2,621 meters in elevation at its peak, the Gavia Pass stands as a towering mountain pass in the Italian Alps, securing its place as the 10th highest paved road in the entire alpine region. Close to the summit of the pass, we could not resist the small gravel section next to a tunnel.
Ich weiß nicht, ob wir da durchkommen.
Nestled within the Lombardy region, this pass serves as a natural boundary separating the province of Sondrio to the north and the province of Brescia to the south.
We are going up to the top of the Stelvio Pass from the Bormio side. Go up the Stelvio, this should be one place you can come down to. The more exciting parts on the other side. We'll probably go down to Stelvio today and find a place to stay at the bottom of the Stelvio because Stefan and the gang, they've done a lot of riding today. They would prefer to meet us at the bottom of the Stelvio. So we'll just go this up and down and we will find a place to stay once we're at top of Stelvio. We are at the top of the Stelvio Pass. It's a beautiful day. It's a little chilly. It's about 13 degrees. And usually at this time of day, there isn't much going on. And wow, snow-capped mountains. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Satte, man kannst du doch nicht lassen, irgendwie hier hoch zu braten, ne? Das ist irgendwie, apropos Braten, da gibt's eine Bratwurst. Also das ist der Uwe nicht.
Für mich echt mental anstrengend.
Ich meine, ich habe ja Piano gemacht, um die Reifen nicht so zu zerheizen, ne? Blöde Sprüche, wie immer, gibt's umsonst. At the summit of the Stelvio Pass, we encountered a group of young riders on their super motorbikes, and Jochen gladly lent a hand by providing tools for impromptu repairs.
Yeah.
We are at the top of the Stelvio Pass, and it's beautiful. It's the sun's about to set, and with the remaining daylight, we're gonna make our way down. And we have a hotel about 30 minutes from here, and then meet the other guys. We had just enough time for a customary arrival beer before the other members of our expedition joined us. The eyes reflecting the excitement of the journey that lay ahead. Together, our group was now complete, ready to venture into the heart of the Central Alps.
Jo, grüß dich Mensch, schön, dass ihr da seid.
Genau.
Following a delightful meal, we wrapped up the day at the bar. The hotel owner generously shared valuable riding tips for the area, taking the time to guide us through the establishment. He delved into the rich history of the Bella Vista Hotel, sharing stories with us of his illustrious guests, including the legendary ski icon from the 1970s, Gustav Thöni. The hotel proudly houses an extensive collection of trophies, medals, equipment and newspaper reports, paying homage to one of its most distinguished guests. At the start of day 3, the group was finally united and geared up to explore the finest offerings of the Central Alps. Our journey today would keep us in the Italian and Swiss Alps as we headed westwards, approaching the border of Switzerland. To kick off the day in style, our first pass is none other than the iconic Stelvio Pass. Back in 2008, the Stelvio gained widespread international acclaim courtesy of the immensely popular British automotive TV show Top Gear. The presenter hailed the Stelvio Pass in Italy as one of the premier driving roads in Europe. Numerous lists have since recognized it as one of the finest places globally to experience an exhilarating drive. The Stelvio Pass is a mountain pass in northern Italy, bordering Switzerland at an elevation of 2,757 meters above sea level. It is the highest paved mountain pass in the Eastern Alps and the second highest in the Alps. No less than 48 hairpin bends on its eastern face make it an icon like no other, while numerous challenging 180-degree hairpin turns pose a distinctive thrill for motorists.
So it's it's not really a secret tip, but usually most people stay down there, they don't come up here. We're going all the way up here, get a spectacular view of
the pass and the hairpin turns.
The Tibet House sits slightly above the peak of the Stelvio Pass at 2,800 meters. It offers a fantastic vantage point to appreciate the road below, adorned with its numerous hairpin turns and the majestic peaks of the Italian Alps. After taking ample time to relish the view, it was time to bid farewell to Uwe, who was parting ways with the group to head back home to Germany. For the rest of us, it was time to resume our journey.
We spent quite a bit of time at the top of the Stelvio Pass, the beautiful view, especially in the morning sun. Took a few photos, and now we're on our way to Bormio. There are a couple ways to get down from here. There is the Swiss side, the Umboy Pass, which is still blocked for mudslides, and then there's the Italian Bormio side, the one we're taking. And it's a nice refreshing 10 degrees, but the sun's coming out, so starting to heat everything up. And actually I'm quite comfortable in my climb Badlands right now. So this is the part where we split. We'll take a left, and if you go to the right, you immediately cross into Switzerland. Usually the views are nicer going down, because you get to see the whole road and all of it. And especially in the morning light, it looks nice. Yeah, this is nice. Full-on view of the waterfall in the morning light. Isn't that amazing? These motorcycle riders don't know what they're doing. There's a doggy in there. That's cool. So this is our first coffee break. We're in Livigno. We just came down here. It's quite cold, and it's time to warm up in the sun with a cappuccino.
Livigno benefits from special tax privileges attributed to both isolated location and the economic condition of its population. Thus, it serves not only as a great spot to pause for coffee, but also as an ideal location to refill your tank.
We just entered Switzerland from Livigno, and we got this spectacular view of the mountains and a glacier right in front of us. It's beautiful. Next couple of days, we'll be seeing some of the most spectacular roads that Switzerland has to offer in the Alps. They're very, very scenic roads. The only thing to pay attention to in Switzerland is the speed limit indeed. It's 80 kilometers an hour on roads like this, unless stated otherwise. And if you go a few kilometers over speed limit, it's not the end of the world. If you go 20 over speed limits, that can get quite expensive. There's quite a bit of traffic here. One reason is today is a Saturday, I think. It's the weekend. So you add the weekend travelers to the tourists that are already here. There's a bit more traffic than normal. I suggest we keep it at that, just look at it, because we have a bit more distance to go. We'll see similar stuff like this, but this is pretty cool. Bernina Pass, that's the name of the pass.
Before ascending the next pass, we conducted a brief test of the KTM 1290 Super Adventure's robustness and the durability of the hard panniers. Unfortunately, Raphael dropped the bike during a turn, resulting in minimal damage with only the tip of the clutch lever breaking off.
Kommst du klar mit dem Kuppeln so, oder willst du einen neuen Hebel dran haben? Ich habe einen dabei.
Fortunately, his climb airbag vest was intelligent enough not to deploy, and shortly afterwards we were back on the road again.
The next pass on our list today is the Albula Pass. Last time I was here, there was a lot of construction. All the new stuff, the new roads that you see, that was all constructed when I was here. Hopefully we can make this pass without any construction sites. The Albula Pass is also one of the top 50 passes in the Alps, so it's absolutely worth seeing.
Constructed in 1865, the road across the pass was once the most crucial north-south connection in Graubünden. The pass reaches its peak at an elevation of 2,306 meters.
So the approach of the Albula Pass is like this, pretty bare above the tree line, all the way to the peak of the pass. And it looks entirely different when you descend from the peak on the other side of the mountain. Yeah, it doesn't quite look like this here, but look at this, pretty cool, isn't it?
The route to the Albula Pass offers a diverse landscape featuring trees, rocks, hairpin turns and the viaducts of the Albula railway route on the west side.
Ja, genau.
Another rider, Sebastian, joined our group for a couple of days. He departed early in the morning from Munich to meet us in Switzerland. Sebastian, Jochen and I had previously completed the last 2 ACT off-road tours together in Italy and Greece. Additionally, Sebastian and I spent 2 weeks in Ireland and Scotland the year before.
That's an interesting, whatever that is, building. So we're at the top of the Julier Pass.
The Julier Pass ascends to an elevation of 2,287 meters and stands as one of the 3 paved road passes linking the Engadine with the northern Grisons, alongside the Albula Pass and the Fluela Pass. In comparison to the Albula Pass, the Julier Pass boasts a broader road with more expensive turns, establishing itself as primary route to traverse the Albula Alps.
So here the kite surfers a little closer up. Well, it's pretty windy. Looks like perfect conditions for this kind of stuff. Center the Surf. Wir gehen hier mal gucken, was ist. Manchmal haben die ja Restaurants auch.
The distinctive setting of Lake Silvaplana, where a lively thermal wind blows each day, has transformed this locale into a mecca for windsurfers. It proved to be an ideal spot for us to enjoy a leisurely late lunch while observing the windsurfers showcase their skills. Soon after our lunch break, we encountered heavy traffic on our next pass.
Kannst doch gar nicht so ohne weiteres vorbei, das ist das Problem. So, we're on the Mayola Pass. And it's a very short section of very tight turns. Get you down from the sort of high plateau. And it's a beautiful drive without a bus in the way. Nein, meine nicht.
The Mayola Pass includes a series of steep sections, some with gradients reaching up to 11 degrees, and tight hairpin turns that demand focus.
Ja, nett, das lässt er uns vorbei, aber das macht er nicht.
Particularly when encountering larger vehicles from the opposite direction.
Das Ding ist komplett leer. Das ist richtig geil.
At its peak, the pass reaches an elevation of 1,815 meters above sea level.
There's definitely a high density of tight turns in this pass.
The pass road stretches for almost 24 kilometers in total, yet the most thrilling section featuring numerous hairpin turns spans just over 5 kilometers. The initial road over the summit was constructed in 1827 to 1828. However, the advent of the road tunnel through the San Bernardino in 1967 and the Gotthard in 1980 marked the conclusion of the transit of goods over the Mayola Pass.
Look at this awesome waterfall to our right. That is really cool. It's not that often that you see that here. It's not like Norway where on every street corner basically you've got one of those. They don't even have names there, they're just like there because... And then they've got the really big ones too. But this is cool, it's a nice waterfall. Was ist denn da los? Komm, Endspurt. Schaffen wir noch. Volle Konzentration. Ein bisschen besser. So we're near the end of our tour for today. It is 15 minutes to 6. We found a place just at the bottom of the Splügen Pass, which will be the first pass tomorrow morning. It's a really nice pass, one of the nice ones in this area. And it should be quite nice in the morning. We found a place kind of remote, not sure if we can find something to eat up here. It looks very deserted, but it seems like they have beds for us. So let's check it out and call this one a day. Schön, dass du dabei bist. Ja. Auf ein paar coole Tage. Alle heile angekommen. Super.
No accidents?
Excellence.
No accidents, excellence?
Made it safely
Fantastic.
today. Had a great day.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable great day.
Last but not least, I'm so fucking tired. So fucking tired.
I couldn't tell. Time to find the bed to get something to eat.
So
So this is the beginning of day number 4 for us. We cut the trip short yesterday. There's a couple of passes we didn't do. So the first pass of today is going to be the Splügen Pass, basically just in the next few minutes after we leave our hotel. Then we do a little loop and come back down south again to the San Bernardino. Awesome pass. So I'm looking forward to the next 2 passes. Hopefully it's going to be very little traffic because it's 8:30 in the morning. So we've got an early start again and it's going to be a long day of riding.
The sun was gradually ascending over the horizon as we approached the Splügen Pass from the south, tracing the shores of the Lago de Montespluga, a reservoir enclosed by 2 dams. The pass, spanning 36 kilometers, extends from Chiavenna in the Italian province of Sondrio to Splügen in the canton of Graubünden. What distinguishes this drive is its remarkable variety, rendering it one of the most breathtaking journeys. The road is the spectacle of twists and turns, complemented by long straights and sweeping curves that add to its allure. The pass boasts a rich history, having been used since Roman times. The initial segment of the road was constructed between 1880 and 1823. As we bid farewell to the Splügen Pass, we traverse a brief stretch of straight road, soon diverting towards one of my favorite passes in Switzerland, the San Bernardino Pass. This winding road with 40 hairpin turns ascends to a high mountain plateau from the north. The San Bernardino Pass reaches an elevation of 2,065 meters above sea level. The stark landscape bathed in the morning sunlight unfolds its beauty as we approach the small mountain lake crowning the pass summit. And the little cafe at the peak of the pass is a perfect place to have our first coffee break. As we revel in the morning sunlight and the beauty surrounding us, it's a moment for reflection. Despite having visited the San Bernardino Pass numerous times before, this particular occasion holds a special significance as I share it with dear friends. The unique joy is derived from experiencing this place through the eyes of Stefan, Raphael and Richard, who are exploring the San Bernardino Pass for the very first time.
We just left the peak of the San Bernardino Pass. Most passes have a better side to ride up and down. This pass, anywhere you come from the north or south end, is an absolute pleasure to ride. So we're going down the south end now. Schon cool. So it's gonna get curvy in a minute again. And the haze in the mountains, the sunlight, it looks so awesome. Ich komme mal rüber zu dir. Oh, sorry.
After enjoying the winding descent on the south side of the San Bernardino Pass, we promptly verified that we were indeed on the old San Bernardino road. It's easy to mistake it for the less captivating and new, wider mountain road, which typically sees more traffic. Shortly after, we were back on course, and following a brief stretch of mostly straight road, we were ready to encounter yet another highlight. The Gotthard is one of the 2 primary north-south routes through the Swiss Alps. Nowadays, most motorists opt for the Gotthard Road Tunnel, constructed in 1980, or the Passwatch, which was built in 1977, as they offer a swift way to traverse the Swiss Alps. However, for the most awe-inspiring experience of crossing the Gotthard, the historic pass road, the Tremler, is unparalleled. This cobblestone paved road pass was originally constructed from 1827 to 1832 and later underwent reconstruction in 1951, presenting the appearance it maintains today. The tremolo provides a journey back in time to an era when stagecoaches traversed the exact same road in the 1830s. Stretching 11 kilometers, the tremolo traverses 37 bends, 24 of them tight hairpin turns. The road is exceptionally steep, reaching a maximum gradient of 13% in some ramps. Regarded as Switzerland's longest historical monument, traveling this historic road offers a unique experience that cannot be found anywhere else in the Alps. The tremolo reaches its highest elevation at 2,109 meters above sea level and intersects with the newer pass road which was constructed in the 1970s. We pause for a snack, relishing the view over the small lake and appreciating the surrounding scenery.
We are climbing up the Forca Pass. That was the next pass after we left the tremolo St. Gotthard Pass. It's quite a bit of traffic here today due to the weekends, but it's a beautiful mountain road, spectacular vistas, and it's been quite a while since I've ridden this one here. Especially on such a nice day. Yeah, speaking of lots of traffic. I think the Porsche driver was ready to go fast, but his old lady probably told him to slow it down. Because he was like gunning it out of the corners for the first few corners, and then he kind of slowed it down. I can totally see the discussion. He wants to like step on it. So I should have left my old lady at home and enjoyed this road by myself. With a nice Porsche. That haze in the air is quite unusual. I've never seen it like this here. Not sure what that is, but it looks really cool actually. There's so many motorcycles out today. We just passed the peak of the Forca Pass, so we're basically at the highest elevation that pass will take you. So you got to see the high mountains, the glaciers. Okay, and you can see the Grimsel Pass, which we also take. That's actually the one on the left. That's our next pass after we leave the Forca Pass.
The Forca Pass is a high mountain pass situated at an elevation of 2,431 meters above sea level. It gained fame from the James Bond movie Goldfinger. The pass is also known for the Hotel Belvedere, which is perched in a hairpin corner across from the parking lot to the closest viewpoint of the Rhone Glacier. The Hotel Belvedere serves as a favorite photography spot not only for motorcycle riders but for all enthusiasts. And for some, the Forca Pass serves as the perfect playground to spin the wheels and capture some social media video footage.
We're making our approach to the Grimsel Pass, which you can see to my right. That's the road. It's going snaking up the mountain, and we are coming down the Forca Pass.
The Grimsel Pass is hailed as one of Switzerland's most iconic mountain passes, offering a perfect combination with the Forca Pass and the Susten Pass. The road seems to have been artfully drawn into the landscape, winding along sparkling reservoir lakes that provide a marvelous sight. At the summit of the Grimsel Pass, a cozy cafe awaits, making it an ideal spot for a refreshing stop or a cup of coffee.
I have never seen this place so busy, especially with motorcycle riders. So we are now descending the Grimsel Pass. We took a little bit of time to look around, and now from here on it's downhill, down to the valley, on to our next pass. Entering a nice curved section of this pass.
The Susten Pass is one of the big three passes of the central Swiss Alps alongside the Forker and Grimsel Pass. The Susten Pass road is characterized by its winding and curvy nature, featuring bridges, tunnels and occasional tight curves. It entails a rather steep ascent, reaching a maximum gradient of 10% through certain ramps.
This is a perfect size too. It's not too big, not too small. It's still got enough room on your lane. It's very scenic, fun to ride.
The journey to the top of the pass provides breathtaking views of the Stein Glacier on the south side.
This is a really, really scenic spot here. I mean, it just keeps getting better the whole day. There's been one highlight chasing the next. We should be pretty close to the top of the pass.
The Susten Pass reaches its peak at an elevation of 2,264 meters above sea level.
Okay, we're gonna stop here, take a break.
And a quaint cafe at the summit serves as a perfect spot for a quick break.
This is where we get to take a break. We are on the descent of the Susten Pass. Took a quick break up there, and the scenery is just so amazing around here, especially now that the sun is just a few hours before sunset. Looks amazing. We're gonna keep going for a little while until we feel like we wanna stop riding, and then we'll start looking for a hotel somewhere on the track. We found a place to stay, which is nearby. So we're just kind of circling around, trying to find a place.
Shortly after descending the Susten Pass, we were ready to conclude the day and discover the hotel for the night. This place not only offered garage parking for the motorcycles, but also a nice outdoor area where we enjoyed a cold beer and reflected on the excitement of the day.
We are back on the road, heading east for quite some time. Taking these smaller roads before we hit our first top 50 pass, the Stelvio Pass. The next one's going to be the Alpine Pass, and then it's going to be the Embark Pass, which just opened a couple of days ago. It was closed for several weeks due to mudslides. I'm so happy that they opened it up now, because that's one of the highlights in that region. And then it's up and down the Stelvio again, and off in the direction to the Dolomites. Let's see how far we get. If we make it all the way to the Dolomites, I get to see some of the passes there, or if we're gonna stop right before. But check out this, check out the view. I mean, look at this. Wow. This is the benefit of going so late in the season. It's the beginning of October, and the colors start to change in the Alps. You can see it's already well into the fall. Got the red between the green colors. It looks beautiful here. We just arrived at the top of the Stelvio Pass. It's just over 2,300 meters in elevation, and the size of poles to the side of the road kind of give you an idea how much snow they can expect here in the winter time. Must be a lot of snow up here. Made it through the Stelvio Pass and the Alpine Pass, and in about 6 kilometers, 4 of us will go to the right-hand side to the Embark Pass, which will bring us to the top of where also the Stelvio ends. That's kind of where we started our tour, and Sebastian, Jochen, we'll head back to Munich a day earlier for other commitments. So this is where we say goodbye to Jochen and Sebastian. It's been feels like an eternity that I've been riding with Jochen, doing the Tim, Lake Garda, all that stuff. But I'll see him tomorrow night. So it's not going to be a long goodbye. Tschüss. Wir sehen uns auch wieder, sehr bald. Teary-eye moments.
British Dubai International Global.
We are entering the Umbrail Pass. Umbrail Pass is a lot less known than its nearest neighbor, the Stelvio Pass. When it comes to the joy of riding it, the Umbrail Pass is definitely my favorite. Been up and down this pass multiple times.
The Umbrail Pass is a gem that's lesser known and consequently less crowded, making it a fantastic ride well worth exploring. With a maximum slope of 14%, the climb is nothing short of spectacular, featuring 35 hairpin turns.
There's some dirt in the corner. So now we're about to enter the second forest section. We're gonna go over that bridge.
The hairpins are both narrow and steep, presenting a challenge when passing other vehicles.
Ah, gravel, finally.
The peak of the Umbrail Pass is situated at the Swiss-Italian border, reaching an elevation of 2,506 meters.
This is definitely one of the more demanding alpine passes.
At this height, the road to the summit currently stands as the highest paved road in Switzerland and one of the highest paved roads in the entire Alps.
And we're entering Italy now. We were just in Switzerland, back in Italy. Cheaper speeding tickets and good food.
We found ourselves once again at the summit of the Stelvio Pass. Riding the Stelvio Pass again wasn't initially part of the plan, but I had forgotten my toiletry bag, which include my contact lenses at the Hotel Bella Vista. This forgetfulness gave us another reason to ride the Stelvio Pass down and then back up again.
Let's see how busy it is here. It doesn't look too bad. It's not so bad.
Due to poor visibility into blind corners, we relied on our intercom system to warn the group of any oncoming traffic.
Car coming.
Despite the pass appearing relatively empty, we eventually encountered some traffic. A good place to safely pass is right before one of the many tight hairpin turns.
There's a bus coming. Yeah, now you know what the traffic's like when you're up here. And like big bus coming up, loads of cars, bunch of bikers going up the hill. We are at the bottom of the Stelvio Pass. It was an unplanned return to the hotel we stayed at a few days ago because I forgot my watch bag. But the benefit of it is we get to ride it down and up again before we resume the tour. I wish you guys could hear the intercom.
After a quick run to the summit of the Stelvio, I had just enough time to film the guys with my drone as they ascended to the top of the pass.
We are at the lower section of the Gavia Pass. Just a few years ago when I was here on this side for the first time, the road conditions were horrendous. They resurfaced a good majority of it. This is what it used to look like, bumpy. Even worse than this, I suppose, the better parts which I left out. So parts of the roads are relatively narrow, which kind of makes this fun to ride. And of course the variety of scenery you get to see just in going up and down this particular pass is amazing. So we're about to get above the tree line now. We're in a sort of very forested section. And there's less and less trees, and at the very top there are none. Now with the lights sort of coming lower, it looks even better. You know, if it's like all the way at noon, it doesn't look the same, but now you can see, you know, the shadows of the rocks. This makes it look really cool.
Once again, I found myself at the Stelvio Pass, this time approaching from the north towards the summit. As our ascent led us past the tree line, we were met with a stunning, barren and rocky landscape enhanced by the soft light of the late afternoon. Having been on the road for a while, the restaurant at the summit of the Stelvio Pass at an elevation of 2,621 meters provided an ideal spot for an extended break, allowing us to savor the breathtaking scenery surrounding us. Despite the Stelvio Pass being more renowned, I consider the underrated Stelvio Pass to be one of the most spectacular alpine passes in the Alps, surpassing the Stelvio in every aspect. Having already covered 250 kilometers and with the clock striking 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we made the decision to ride another 150 kilometers during our late lunch, aiming to reach the Dolomites by the end of the day. This choice turned this riding day into the longest of the entire tour.
We found a hotel in South Tyrol in the Dolomites, which is a good 3 hours of net riding time to meet up with friends there. This will make this probably the longest riding day of this entire tour. And we still have a few highlights ahead of us. But the Stelvio Pass is definitely the most spectacular one. This is about as wide as this road gets. There's some narrow parts to it further down. Just enough space for a single car. We actually did take the gravel road. There's a tunnel coming up. We didn't go through it, we went around it. There's a small gravel road. We'll see it in a bit. But that's pretty steep. Yeah, if you go off here, you definitely have to make every corner here. Otherwise, it's a long way down. So that forest section is quite nice, but it is quite narrow in some parts. Got a big SUV coming your way, then there isn't a lot of room. And then compare that to the Grimsel Pass, which is basically as wide as an autobahn. And then you have these like narrow, windy roads like this. We are on Passo de Mendola, and most of the road is just like this. White corners. It's a pretty wide road. A lot of fun to ride a bit faster. Very little traffic, and decent pavement. Having a good time?
Fantastic.
That's what I'd like to hear.
Yeah, definitely something.
2 hours and we're at the hotel.
How many?
2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah, normal driving.
Perfect.
I can almost.
Flowing roads up there were.
The flowing roads are awesome. That's why we had to do that part, because that's nice. Now we just go there straight. I can almost taste the beer. Almost.
Yeah, and the barbecue.
Oh, the barbecue. Yeah, the barbecue.
They have Grillabend.
We are in the Trentino area of Italy and about an hour and a half away from our accommodation tonight. We had some amazing roads today and we're going to take the shortest way to the hotel. That still means we have some awesome roads to get there. There's going to be parts of it that is Autobahn, a toll road, because we need to be there for the barbecue, which starts at 7:30. And at the moment our ETA is 19:20, so 7:20, and the beer is waiting too.
The sun was already setting as we embarked on the final stretch to the hotel. Since this was our last night together, we couldn't have asked for a better conclusion. The hotel had arranged a barbecue and we arrived just in time. With a beer in our hand, we reflected our day around the bonfire that was set up for the guests. The next day, we were welcomed by the most beautiful weather at the foothills of the Dolomites. A light haze draped the rolling hills as we packed up our motorcycles for the last time. Our plan was to explore the finest rides of the Dolomites in the morning before embarking on the long journey back to Munich. After a brief ride in the morning sunlight, we arrived at the heart of the Dolomites. Our initial pass summit was on the Stelvio Pass, offering a breathtaking view of the Sassolongo group and the surrounding area.
So we got ourselves a little situation. There is a camper van stuck in this construction site. There's a traffic light system, and somehow he must have gotten stuck in there. And now we have to sort of negotiate how to do this. So people are trying to figure out, I guess the camper van has a hard time backing up, so I guess we'll be just turning around. Da wäre jetzt die Försterwende gut, wenn man die richtig drauf hätte, könntest du eine richtige Attacke machen. So let's try this again. This is where the camper got stuck straight in the middle of it. Now they're manually letting us through here. It's gotta be quite a backlog now. Yippee-yay. Oh, here's a richtig full house. So this is the Passo Gardena. Awesome place to put your camper in. There's a bus coming. Now we go. No, that's not room. Okay, I'm gonna have to pass this guy here.
The Passo di Valparola is a high mountain pass standing at an elevation of 2,168 meters above sea level, nestled in the Dolomites. Descending toward the summit of the Passo di Falzarigo, it presents a breathtaking view of the towering peaks of the Dolomites. The summit of the Passo di Falzarigo served as a perfect spot for a brief break for our group.
We just entered the Passo di Giao, one of my favorite passes here in the Dolomites. It is fun to ride, it's very varied in the scenery you get to see, and it has some of the best views from the very top of the pass. This is also where we're going to break for coffee. So the lower section goes through this nice forest, and then as we exceed sort of the tree line, the entire scenery opens up a bit, and it looks very different actually.
The Passo di Giao holds a special place among my favorite passes in the Alps. Not only for the exhilarating ride to the summit from any direction, but the pass is also one of the most beautiful in the Dolomites. Reaching an elevation of 2,338 meters, the pass peak offers one of the most captivating panoramic views in the Dolomites. We opted for the restaurant at the summit for a lunch break. After soaking in the breathtaking surroundings, we started our descent down from the pass.
So this nice curvy section here is the beginning of the Pordoi Pass, our last big highlight of this tour. It's a top 50 pass on the Sella Ronda, and after we fueled up with Apfelstrudel and Coke and cappuccino, it's time to put all that energy to good use one final time before we hit the fast roads to get back to Munich.
The Pordoi Pass ascends to an elevation of 2,238 meters at its summit, marking it the second highest paved pass in the Dolomites just after the Stelvio Pass. Featuring 33 hairpin turns and a maximum gradient of 10%, this pass offers a delightful and thrilling ride. While the Pardoi Pass marked our last highlight of the day, we had the pleasure of riding the Stelvio Pass again. So we did parts of this morning, and it was a lot of fun. We're part of the Summer Wonder we're doing, and we might actually do the whole thing again, if I think about it. This experience was a fitting conclusion before we set our course for Munich. Oh, this guy almost didn't make the corner. Young guy. This is a very tight turn and he's like not a good driver. Yippee! Back to the cellar. Actually, this is a nice one to do again. As the Dolomites fade in a rearview mirror, it's a moment to reflect on the 6-day motorcycle journey through the Central Alps. From the twisty roads of Lake Garda to the iconic Stelvio Pass, we embraced breathtaking landscapes and shared the camaraderie of the open road. As we explored historic passes, reveled in the breathtaking scenery of Switzerland, and navigated the Dolomites, each day brought new thrills and unforgettable moments. What made this journey truly special was the opportunity to share it with riders completely new to this breathtaking area. Experiencing the joy and awe through their eyes added an extra layer of fulfillment to the adventure.
Memorable trip of a lifetime. Incredible. Yeah, really, really good.
The memories created and the friendship forged during this trip are treasures that will stay with us for a lifetime.